Symptoms, symptoms. How do I hate thee? If that's how you feel about your symptoms, then I want to talk to you today about your relationship with your symptoms. Hi, everybody. I'm Ricki Heller. I'm a healthy food coach, and I've been dealing with chronic candida for about 20 years and help people learn to live well with dietary restrictions. So I want to tell you a little bit about an ex-boyfriend of mine in relation to this topic. He would, and this is the guy, if you follow me on my blog, he's the guy that I refer to as he of the black leather pants. So, he'd be fine. We'd have lovely times together. We'd go out, we'd have fun. I thought, oh, he likes me, or even he's falling in love with me. And then we'd make plans and we'd get together. And if something better came up, it was bye-bye. He'd cancel at the last minute. And I think on some level, that's how those of us with these chronic conditions where we have dietary restrictions that we have to follow in order to remain healthy, that's how we treat our health, right? So we do what we need to do. Hey, welcome. We do what we need to do. We eat the foods we need to eat to stay healthy. But on some level, if something better comes up, we dump our healthy eating, right? We ghost it, or whatever they say. It's like, well, this piece of cheesecake is just more enticing than my salad or my gluten-free bread or whatever it may be, and I'm going to eat that today instead. And we kind of gauge, is it worth it? If I eat this ice cream, or if I eat this chocolate cake, or if I eat this brownie, I know I'm going to feel discomfort or bloating or pain or whatever it may be, probably for a day or two, and you kind of gauge, is it worth it to have it now for that discomfort later? And then you have your few days of discomfort, and things go back to normal, and you forget about it, and life goes on, and you figure, yeah, it was worth it. Is it really worth it? Maybe. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I can't say yes or no for you. But what I'd like you to think about is it really worth it in the long term? So here's how I like to think about it. We have this puppy, Zoe, that we got as well. She's not even a puppy anymore because she's just a year old. But she still acts like a puppy. And she is the most challenging pup I've ever owned, for sure. I've had 4 dogs, and she's the most challenging. And so sometimes, I think about if she's driving me absolutely crazy and we go to the dog park, I think of it in these terms. If you have this pup that's driving you nuts and you go to the off-leash park, you can stand there and let her run and play with the other dogs, and you think, oh, this gives me a moment of relief. I feel like a normal person for a few minutes while she runs off and does her thing and plays. And maybe she gets in a fight and you go and you stop it. Or maybe she runs through the bushes and she's going to get burrs all in her tail, and you take her home. And when you get home, you take out the burrs, everything, or she's quiet, and you think, okay, now everything's back to normal. It was worth it for me to let her off leash just because I got to feel good for a few minutes there. But the thing is, with the puppy, a fight as a pup can result years later in an aggressive dog who has fear aggression. In fact, this happened with one of our first dogs, where after a certain age, she was no longer able to interact with other dogs because she was just she would just leap on them because she had had this experience when she was younger. Or, you take out the burrs after she was running in the bushes, but who knows, maybe there was a tick somewhere that you didn't see, and this ends up a year later with Lyme disease symptoms. So if you think of it in terms of your health in a similar way, having that moment of, I feel like a so-called normal person may lead to something worse down the road. People will say to me all the time, when they come to work with me, I don't know what happened. Everything was fine, and all of a sudden I had these symptoms and I got sick, and now I'm told I have candida, or now I'm told I have something else like, Crohn's or colitis or something, and I can't eat all these foods. But the truth is, it doesn't happen overnight like that. I was diagnosed with candida at age 40, but I had 40 years of slow incremental deterioration of my digestive tract and my gut before those symptoms manifested in a way that I couldn't ignore them anymore. And maybe I was hearing these little murmurs, you know, of a little bit of discomfort or a little bit of indigestion or a little bit of a stomach ache or, you know, yeast infections, recurrent yeast infections. But I ignored those because overall I felt okay. And I thought, I feel good enough. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's blatantly wrong. So I guess things are all right. And it's the same sort of thing when we cheat that way. And this is my opinion. But the way that this gut dysbiosis occurs is it's not a one and done. It's over time. And it's small little incremental changes. So when you think about your symptoms coming out suddenly, they didn't, right? And the same way, your symptoms are not going to heal suddenly either. Just because you feel okay after 2 days when you go off the diet, that doesn't necessarily mean that there isn't some kind of damage happening that you're no longer aware of. And that's the thing that I would ask you to think about next time you want to have that piece of cake or that bowl of ice cream or that glass of wine or whatever it is. Have your symptoms been gone for a year straight? Have your symptoms been gone for 2 years straight? Or have they only been gone until you eat something that isn't on your healthy diet? And if that's the case, I would wager that those symptoms are still a result of something going on in the body that needs to be fixed. So ask yourself, not so much, is it worth it to have this discomfort today? And then I think I'm going to feel better tomorrow. But ask yourself, is it worth it for the damage that I might do in a year? Is it worth it for these symptoms to come back in 5 years, even worse? Is it worth it for what's going to happen in 25 years? When you look down the road and you have that continuous damage happening in the digestive tract, is it worth it for a piece of cake today? And when I think in those terms, the answer to me is no. But, you know, and believe me, I am not talking from a place of perfection. I certainly overdo it with certain foods. I don't eat the foods that are 100% off my diet, like sugar, gluten, and so on. But I might overdo it with some of my own brownies, or I might overdo it with some of my own ice cream. And then I do pay the price. And so it's not like I'm perfect. But when you can ask yourself that question and act accordingly, that I find can be really helpful to stop me from having that extra piece of brownie or chocolate that I've made or whatever it is that's in the house, because I think about what's going to happen down the road, even though I might not notice it today. Because, like I said, 40 years of slow incremental damage, suddenly there it was, and I had this horrible situation with candida. So you might not always feel it right away. So this might be something to aim for in the year to come, is if you want to be able to do that, to learn how to stop yourself when it comes to that choice, right? How do you learn to say no? How do you stop yourself? That's what we need to do if we want to continue to eat these healthy foods. So if that's something that's of interest, goal setting can help with that. I used goal setting actually around my health as well. And I've got a goal setting and vision board workshop that's only available till January 15th because, you know, once you're past the middle of January, you should have your goals set for the year, right? So if you're interested in setting some goals around this, around health, or any other area of your life, or if you're just curious as to what a vision board is and how you can use it, then just leave a comment below. Let me know you're interested, and I'll send you the link so you can sign up for that vision board. Also, if you have any questions for me right now, hi, I'm here live, so I'm always happy to answer questions while I'm on. Or if you want to just leave them in the comments below, I come back and I take a look at these videos later on, and I will answer any and all questions that people have. So I hope that sets you off to a good start for your 2020. It's going to be a great year to come. It's a full moon today, apparently. So this is a good way to start it. And here's to a great year ahead. Okay, everybody. See you next time.